So now we are going to describe the next program on the for loop is the factorial of a number. To find the factorial of a number, we will use the same for loop construct as we have used in the case of the natural number summation. So this is quite similar to the sum of natural numbers program, but a little variation is there. Now we are going to explain line by line what I have written in the program. So let's begin with the first line, that for finding the factorial of a number, as you know what is the factorial. Any number's factorial is calculated in the manner in this way. That is, if we say 3 factorial, then we are going to calculate the number as 1 into 2 into 3. That is 1 star 2 star 3, that means 6. So factorial of 3 will become 6. Factorial of 4 will become 1 star 2 star 3 star 4 star, that is 24, and so on. So if we want to find the factorial of any number, we will take the help of this program. We can take the help of this program. Other constructs are always available. I will show it to you later on. So this is one of the this is one of the concepts which we can resort to in order to find the factorial of any number. So suppose for that program to be executed, we need, just as the previous program for the summation of the first 10 natural numbers, we have to take 3 variables, that is n, that is the number for which the factorial is to be determined, I, the iteration variable or the loop variable, and the fact, a variable which is called fact, which will hold the value of the factorial. That is, this ultimate value of fact will yield the result of the program which we are going to print as an output of this program. So we have taken these 3 variables. One of the variables has been initialized to 1, that is fact has been initialized to 1, because whatever will be multiplied to 1 will yield that result. And so we have initialized the value of factorial fact to be 1. Then we will just prompt the user to enter a number, printf, enter the number, new line, that is simple, scanf, user gives the value of n from the keyboard. Then we come to the logical portion of the program. Here we are using a combination of the if-else-if ladder, as we have described in the previous classes, and this if-else-if ladder concept has been clubbed with the for loop construct. So we are using the combination of the for loop construct, for loop logic, as well as the if-else-if ladder construct. See, what we have done is that if the user enters any value which is less than 0, that is -5, -3, etc., then the factorial of a negative number, as you know, that factorial of a negative number cannot be determined. So in that case, the user input will be considered to be an invalid input. So in that case, we have dealt with this situation by writing this if statement as if n less than 0, that is any number which is negative, will yield no result and will just print a message that the input is invalid. So we have written invalid input. Then we come to the next condition, that is if any user gives the n value to be. So now we are going to describe cases of this 0 value and 1 value. As you know, friends, that 0 factorial will yield always a result of 1, and 1 factorial will always yield a result of 1. So both of the values are 1. So in both the cases of 0 input and 1 input, the result will be always 1. So we don't have to calculate in this scheme of sequences. If the user gives the value of n to be 0 or 1, we'll always have the output to be 1. So I have just dealt with that situation in this manner. So we have written another statement, else if, then comes 2 conditions separated by a logical or operator. That is, it will hold good for either of the cases. That is, if n is equal to 0, if the user inputs the value of n to be 0, or if the user inputs the value of n to be 1, then we are going to print the result of factorial to be 1. see, we have initialized the value of factorial to be 1, that is fact is equal to 1. So fact now holds the value of how much? The fact holds the value of 1. So we are going to print in this manner, printf the factorial of %d is %d, then comes n comma fact. So what is this? The output will come in this fashion. The factorial of %d means the factorial of n, that is, say the factorial of 0 is %d means fact. The factorial of 0 is fact means 1. So the answer will be like this: the factorial of 0 is 1. Or if the user gives 1, the factorial of 1 is 1. So this is the manner in which we have dealt with this 0 and 1 cases. So the remainder of the cases will be dealt with in this else block. That is the final else block of the if-else-if ladder construct. So this else is written in the line of this if, second if, and this else will start from here with this brace, and this is the logic. That is, we have dealt with situations of numbers which are negative, numbers which is equal to 0, or number which is equal to 1. So we are left with only values of numbers which are starting from 2 onwards. So 2 or greater numbers. So now we are dealing with the values of those numbers supplied by the user as n is equal to 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever may be, any values which is greater than or equal to 2. So this for I is equal to 2 is the initialization part, I less than or equal to n is the condition checking part, and the modification part is just like the previous program as we have dealt with in the previous section, that is for determining the summation of the first n natural numbers. So this I plus plus increments the loop variable by unity, that is by 1. So after that we will write in an indented fashion, that is the execution statement, the statement which is to be executed under the for construct is fact is equal to fact star I. Fact is equal to fact star I. Whatever is the value of fact is to be multiplied by this I value, and then it will be stored, it will be assigned into this fact value once again. So in this way the iterative process will go on until the condition will not hold good, when the program control will come out of the for loop construct to this line, that is printf. Same way we have printed here the factorial of %d is %d. Now see, the factorial of say %d, factorial of %d means 3. Say user has given n is equal to 3. So in that case the loop will come like this: I is equal to 2, then what will be the operation? Fact is equal to whatever is the value of fact from the beginning, 1 star I means 2, that is 2. Then I plus plus I becomes 3, so 3 is definitely less than or equal to 3, so then fact becomes 2 star 3, that is 6. Then I becomes 4, and then we go out of the loop because 4 is definitely greater than 3 and it is not less than or equal to 3. So we will have the final value of fact to be 6, and this fact value will be printed in this expression statement like this: the factorial of %d means the factorial of, say suppose 3 is %d means is 6. So this is the remainder portion, that is any numbers which are equal to 2 or greater than 2 will be dealt with in this manner. So we come to the end of this else block. We have dealt with all the possible cases, and then we are left with the line return 0 and come to the end of the program. So if you have any doubts or queries pertaining to this program, you can well put your queries or comments in the comment section below so that I can address to your comments.